This episode is brought to you by AWS. Amazon Q Business is the generative AI assistant that can securely understand your business data, summarize results, and streamline tasks. Learn what Amazon Q Business can do for you at aws.com/learn more.
This episode is brought to you by Amazon Prime. There's nothing sweeter than baking cookies during the holidays. With Prime, I get all my ingredients delivered right to my door, fast and free, no last-minute store trips needed. And of course, I blast my favorite holiday playlist on Amazon Music. It's the ultimate soundtrack for creating unforgettable memories. From streaming to shopping, it's on Prime. Visit Amazon.com/Prime to get more out of whatever you're into.
Hey, I'm Amanda from Trifecta Fitness. We're proud to be Clarksville's new Get Fit headquarters. Trifecta Fitness is a state-of-the-art spin and strength training studio. Our spin studio is truly one of a kind in this area, complete with 20 state-of-the-art live fitness bikes and an incredible sound system. Our strength training is done in small groups of 6 or fewer, and all of our strength and spin classes are scalable for every level of experience. Come see us in the heart of Clarksville, just behind MAPCO at the corner of Old Trenton Road and Wilma Rudolph Boulevard. Call us for more info at 931-542-6265 or download our Trifecta Fitness app for a full list of upcoming classes.
Welcome back. MisFitNation. We are a show founded by veterans and hosted by 2 veterans and a military spouse. Our mission is to get people to tell their story to the world. If you're an author, share your tips with the MisFitNation. If you're a musician or actor, our audience needs to know how they too can get into the business. Coaches, we love our coaches. Come on and share some of your tips with the MisFitNation to help them become better versions of themselves. If you are a corporate leader or entrepreneur, come on and share how you did it and how hard you have fought for success. If you are a veteran, first responder, or star family, we would love to have you come on and just share your story with the MisFitNation. We always have time for you. If you're feeling down, alone, or starting to see the darkness, stop. Think about those who are around you. You are not alone. You will be missed. If you feel like your problems will be a burden to those in your inner circle or are embarrassed, dial 988. If you are a veteran, take option 1. We need you to keep pushing forward. Don't make a permanent solution to a temporary problem. If you're a new listener, welcome to the MisFitNation. Be sure to subscribe to the show on your favorite podcast apps and also on our YouTube channel at _MisFitNation. Subscribe and click the bell to keep you up to date with our latest episodes and all of our news. You can also find us on Electrocast Media and About Face Radio. This will keep you tuned in to us and learn about our great guests. All right. Thanks, Adam Baum, for passing it over to us. Another great set tonight. Be careful on your way home with those storms coming through town. We have another great guest tonight. This one, a veteran, a retired Marine officer turned high performance coach, speaker, who helps successful, high-caliber female entrepreneurs kick self-doubt and perfectionism to the curb by harnessing sexy confidence so they can magnetize opportunities for impact and growth. So without further ado, let's welcome Sandra Gonzalez, USMC veteran, to the MisFitNation. Welcome, Sandra.
Thank you for having me. It's an honor to be here.
It's great to have you here. Whenever I have veterans, especially female veterans that are willing to come on, I get excited because for some reason, they don't like to come on the show. But when I get them on here, it's a great time and I have a blast with them, especially when they're motivators like yourself, 20 years of Marine Corps service. Thank you for your service and thank you for all you've done for our country.
Thank you, Rich. Thank you.
I just gave about 2 sentences about you, Sandra. If you can go a little more in depth about as far back as you want to go to how we got to where we are now, that'd be awesome.
Absolutely. Well, thank you for having me here in the MisFitNation. Like Rich said, my name's Sandra Gonzalez. I'm a retired Marine officer turned high performance coach speaker, and I had the honor, the distinction of serving 20 years of service as a U.S. Marine. Now I help high caliber female entrepreneurs. I help chingonas up-level their mindset by specifically kicking self-doubt and perfectionism to the curb by harnessing something that I call sexy confidence, which helps them take command of any room they step into so they can magnetize opportunities for growth and impact. So, having said that, I really love working with this high caliber female entrepreneur because she's got this insatiable appetite for growth. She not only wants to, provide for her family, but she wants to serve her community as well. So this is where I come in, Rich. It's one of the many things I did in the Marine Corps was mentor, train, leaders, Marines throughout my 20 years of service. And it's one of the things that I felt in love with, coaching, training, mentoring. And I realized because I loved it so much, I infuse my military experience, into my coaching methodology. So I help high caliber leaders because yes, I coach men as well, but specifically female entrepreneurs. I help them cultivate sexy confidence. Now, if I may clarify what sexy confidence is,
Yes.
because as I'm saying that, I'm sure a lot of, your viewers, your listeners that are watching, they're like, what's sexy confidence? I wonder what comes to mind, right? Well,
Right.
sexy confidence is this high performance attitude, Rich. An attitude your attitude will determine your altitude. And this is what I help her with is give her this state of mind, which is sexy confidence, which really it helps her master herself. So sexy confidence is this ability to master yourself so you can stay calm during stressful challenges and situations.
Awesome. And that, I think part of that sexy confidence, you probably garnered a little bit in the core when that person walks in the room with their uniform all starched and walking in tall and calm and confident. That breeds that confidence around them and that attitude adjustment for everyone. That if you're having a bad day, when that leader walks in and is looking good and feeling good and pumps up that motivation, everyone starts to motivate and go higher.
Absolutely, Rich. And for the men and women leaders that are watching, right? It's our responsibility to learn how to raise, our attitude, how to raise our energy, which is one of the things I help women with, is like every single day you have to raise your energy because you do that alone, everything else will fall into place. So it definitely is about what you said, taking command of any room with that command presence, putting on a starched uniform, making sure your grooming standards are like top notch, it's your body language, it's how you communicate, it's how you influence other people to ultimately take action.
Exactly. And I think that goes a long way to the success of the entrepreneur, especially. The entrepreneur, it comes in that fight mentality. I got to get my business going. I mean, you're an entrepreneur now with this business. Well, you're also helping entrepreneurs grow their brand and grow themselves as people as well as their company. That entrepreneur is hungry and they want to dig in and they want to get in that trench and they want to fight until they're the person that is able to say, I made it. I'm on the top of this list. So they got to go in every day with that same motivated personality.
Absolutely. Absolutely. It's about that insatiable appetite for growth that, I saw in my Marines Marines period that wanted more. And I think that's what we do as service members. We're just, the top like 1% of the population joins the military. It's because you have this insatiable appetite for growth. You want to serve. You're a patriot. You want to serve your country. And the majority of the people, unfortunately, they give into complacency. They give into mediocrity. but not military service members. They're willing to put their life on the line for something greater. So
Definitely. And you see that when a lot of the veterans get out of the military, they get to their first job and it's not what they really wanted. They lose, they find that they don't have a purpose there, or they're just not, I guess, challenged enough at that job. So they're already looking for the next step, the next big thing as they're at that first job, because they know they want a job because they want to have some money, but they also want to do something that makes them want to wake up in the morning and start their day their best way.
Rich, you bring up such a great point, because I was asked to speak. A good friend of mine, she's an amazing entrepreneur. She's a doctor, and she's been like a dean at 2 universities, and she asked me to speak at a college here in San Diego this past Saturday. And it's funny you say that, because the majority of the students in that college are military veterans, so I can empathize, I can understand, firsthand some of the challenges we face. Especially, doesn't matter if I would say it's harder the longer you've been in the military, the harder it is for you to make that transition, because the military is part of your identity. Well, after you've served 20 years, like I did, right? And I don't know how long you served, Rich. How many years?
22 years.
Woo! Thank you for your service.
No problem.
Exactly.
And like you said, when I got out, I took 365 days off.
Good for you.
Try to find myself, and also to find I wanted to find the perfect thing, and it just wasn't happening until exactly 365 days. And I wound up with a veteran nonprofit helping other veterans as they transitioned. So that gave me a little purpose, kind of being like a platoon sergeant again, leading. And then I fell into this next role after 2 years. So I had to keep, I guess, hustling until I found the right spot for me.
But you did the important thing, Rich, which a lot of people, unfortunately, don't do, which is take action. Just take action. A small step in any direction will guide you as to whether you're, doing what you're supposed to be doing or not. And this is one of the many things I spoke about last Saturday. How do you transition from military service into a new career, or now as an entrepreneur? And I just pretty much shared my specific journey of how I became an entrepreneur, and my trajectory, so they could, because it was a business entrepreneurship class that I was talking to, future entrepreneurs. So I shared a little bit more about my journey, but you took action, Rich. And that's the thing, we need to, it's about taking small action.
Exactly. And I think a lot of people have great ideas and they don't write them down and they don't pursue them. They have them and then they think, oh, well, I'm kind of comfortable where I am. I don't want to take that chance. I don't want to push anything out of this envelope because I know if I do, there's a risk involved. Or you can take that risk and see where it takes you. And a lot of times it's the better place for you.
Exactly, Rich. That's where I come in. That's where I realize that's where I come in, because I'm going to help this woman kick self-doubt and perfectionism to the curb. Because oftentimes, it's like there's this imposter syndrome. They're like, Sandra, I don't know if, I should take this step in this direction. I don't know if like this is good enough. So it all comes down to, as I give a free assessment to understand her or him a little bit more about what is really holding them back. And oftentimes it's these, enemies within that you already know about, Rich, right? The enemies of fear, self-doubt, and uncertainty. Those are the fears that are holding you back. It's not the external environment. It's not, what people ultimately, a lot of people do compare themselves and are afraid of what other people might think. But really, the enemy is within. The enemies of self-doubt, fear, and uncertainty.
Exactly. And when you have clients that are constantly thinking about in those fears that are in their mind or inside them, how do you get them to break that? What's a trick that you've used?
Yes. Oh. So it all depends on which woman I'm working with, right? Because they're like, oh my gosh, Sandra, I have to give, a speaking presentation here, or, they have to take command of the room, whether it's, again, giving a public, speaking engagement, or it could also be giving a webinar presentation. So as I ask her some questions, I can see that oftentimes people will come up with excuses as to why they can't move forward. Well, you know what? It's technology. I've never been on a Zoom platform. How can I? It's really these excuses that are really, I mean, they're fears. And once I help her shift her perspective of how she sees things, and that's all I do, Rich, it's I help her shift her perspective. So for example, I now I coach her through that specific challenge, this problem of, well, listen, you're not going to grow your business if you don't conquer this fear. So once I let her know, we find out what this fear is. I let her know, look, hey, we got to go after this fear, because fear is like a fire, right? And if you don't put out that freaking flame, what does it become, Rich? Like,
Oh no.
yes, yes. So we put that out with a quickness. You know what I'm saying? So it all depends on what the specific person, what specific challenge they have. But, it's helping her discover what that is, and then helping her shift her perspective. So now she's like, oh, heck yeah. I'm being selfish. I'm being, because it's the ego, that holds us back sometimes from, oh, what are going people think? And so I'm very transparent. Like whenever I have a coaching call or something doesn't go as planned, I'm like, good, this is supposed to happen. So I can show my clients that we need to fail forward. We need to it's okay to make mistakes.
Yes.
It's okay to experience setbacks. So and again, it comes down to sexy confidence. If you can master yourself as you're giving a speaking presentation, and all of a sudden the keynote presentation doesn't go as planned, and all eyes are on you, what are you going to do? Are you going to run out of the room? No, you're not. You're going to take command of that room. You're going to take that command presence, and you're going to give the best speaking engagement that you can possibly give, because people want to listen to what you have to say. And when you allow yourself to just be, this is another thing I help people with, is be authentic. There will never be another you. So to answer your question, Rich, it all boils down to the person's specific needs. And I help them see that in a different way. So I help them focus on the cure, not the disease. I help them see the lessons, not the losses. I help them generate solutions to their problems, not additional stressors.
Definitely. And something we say here a lot is stack victories. So all day long, we go through a phase of things. We wake up in the morning. That's a victory for most of us, especially after 20 years in the military. It's a victory. You get up, things crack. They're going to crack. You have snap, crackle, pop. You get up, you brush teeth. You just stack those victories during the day. If you get 19 today, let's go for 20 tomorrow. You may fail during the day, but don't let those failures hold you back. Remember what happened. Don't do it again. And don't let them keep you down. Get back up. You're not judged by how many times you fall. You're judged by how many times you get back up.
Exactly. It's funny. I was just doing my next training lesson, and it's about mental toughness. Like what you're talking about, Rich, it's about getting back up. And, for the viewers that are watching, for your listeners that are tuned in, Adversity is your advantage. And this is this is why we pride ourselves with our military. And we must continue to raise our high caliber standards and understand that, you know what? Don't pray for an easy life. Pray for, for the tools, the skill sets to, the strength to endure a difficult one. And when you shift your perspective and understand that, you realize, you know what? What's next? What can I learn from and move forward and experience? So when you do this, and I think this is really important that, a lot of the viewers, we all do, we need to learn how to practice self-compassion. What life lesson am I learning at this moment? And how can I extract the positivity, leave the negativity, and keep moving forward? So it's about extracting life's lessons in a way that it serves you.
Exactly. And a lot of people now, especially the last 2+ years now, they've let outside noise get to them. The outside noise, the talking heads get to them, and they let that stress control them. Either whatever show you watch. If you're watching show A, you let them influence you, and then show B is horrible, and vice versa. But I try to tell people, if you're not sailing the ship, just ride the wave. Just ride the wave, and you'll get to the other side, and then you can lead the charge. But if you're going to keep fighting the waves, you're not going to make it. It's going to be like a riptide taking you out to sea, and you're having no control of this.
Ooh, I like that. I like that, Rich. You're right. It is about riding the wave, because once you accept, it's like accepting life is messy. Life in business, it's messy, but this is what makes it so beautiful. And once you let go, you let God, right? You let go of expectations. You're better able to, like what you said, Rich, ride that wave. That's beautiful.
Thank you.
I love that.
You can use it.
Yeah, especially being here from San Diego, right? I need to surf. My
Exactly. You got Muscle Beach there. You got all that, so you can hang out and do that stuff. So you can start your own wave, ride the wave class there. Get on the paddleboard and then ride it, and then when you get off it, you lead.
Beautiful.
So I talked about stacking victories from the morning on. Do you have any morning rituals that you do to get your day going the right way?
You're speaking my love language, Rich. I help women with just that. Develop a solid morning ritual, because it starts the moment you get up. And, my family, they're like, dude, you're a retired Marine, give it up. I actually get up earlier now than when I was in the Marine Corps. And I do it because I've fallen in love with my life. I've fallen in love with, with my business, how I serve other people. And when I wake up with creativity. I wake up with downloads. So I share this because how you wake up in the morning, right? And the morning rituals that you incorporate every day will pretty much determine how your day goes. So if you have this solid morning ritual, which my humble recommendation, Rich, is like, make your bed, boo. Like I tell it's simple. Make your bed, and I learned it from, I was a Marine Corps drill instructor for 3 years. So I trained over 500 women recruits for the rigors of combat. And the first thing we taught them, right, was how to make this impeccable bed. Parts of the bed had to be like at 45-degree angle, 6 inches. Like I could see if that rack, that, the bed wasn't 6 inches or didn't have that 45-degree angle, I'd go in there like, that crazy drill instructor and tear it up until she got it right. But I share this because there's so much that goes into making this bed. So now for the person that's watching, as you're making your bed, like be grateful. Be grateful you have this bed. There's so many people waking up this morning that are homeless, that are in this. And I know you've, Rich, I know I've slept in the snow and crazy training environments. And I'm like, I'm so grateful I have my bed. But you cultivate this attitude of gratitude. That coupled with the fact that if you make your bed, it's like your first accomplishment, right? And accomplishment is tied to your self-worth. And when you strengthen your self-worth, it enhances your sexy confidence. So that's how, like you said, Rich, you can stack these small little wins, which create a ripple effect and help you discipline. So self-discipline starts with making your bed.
Definitely, that's a great first step. I try to tell that to people too. That came from Admiral McRaven's his speech, "Make Your Bed." A great speech, great little book about. It's probably a 10-minute read. Really, it's a speech. His whole speech can get you through life if you just listen, read the words and listen to what you're saying. You'll understand how to get these victories every day. And making your bed is the number one thing to do. I know a lot of people argue, "I'm just going to sleep in it later." Well, you get up and it feels a little better if you have to undo it to get in there. You're also going to wear those pants, so you got to take them off and clean them too. So you're not going to wear them every day. So it's things you need to do. So it's a great practice.
Absolutely. It's a great first, and just it's a small, easy practice that helps you again, set the tone for the day so you can practice, incorporate other habits. It just bleeds into other areas of your life. So I agree.
Exactly. And since you were a drill, do you ever find yourself when you're talking to your clients bringing out that knife hand? Or do you have to restrain it, keep it in the holster?
I take it out as needed because it's part of me, Rich. It's funny. I was doing an Insta story, and one of the gunners, this badass Marine I served with, he was watching one of my Insta stories, and he's like, "Hey, Sandy, I can see you still have that knife hand." I'm like, "It's never gonna go away, brother. It's 20 years." Yeah, especially as a drill instructor, naturally it came out, but it's part of me. It communicates more of who I am, and I've taken ownership because when you do that, you learn to be authentic, right? I'm not when I speak in front of amazing successful entrepreneurs, leaders, people that I'm like, I find myself, I could be easily intimidated. I'm like, oh, heck no. They want to know about my experience. If it's meant to be, it's up to me. And I'm going to give them, the knife hand if need be. I'm going to give them the very best of me. So in doing that, Rich, and allowing myself to be authentic, that's where I've realized that I attract the right clientele and repel the wrong ones. And this is okay, right? And when you're authentic, you allow other people to be themselves as well.
Exactly. And they become more comfortable when they feel that you are being your true self. And when you're being your true self, you're a little more open. You're opening up that layer of defense when you're being yourself, and you kind of more like a normal human to them and not just a coach. So
Right.
The lights come off and they say, "Okay, I'll share everything I'm doing wrong with you. Please help me. Please push me to the excellence."
Exactly. And people want to connect more than ever. People, especially as a coach, it's my responsibility to create that safe environment where they feel safe, secure, and I help them be vulnerable because that's where the real growth happens.
Definitely. And then once you have everyone open and honest with themselves and each other, they're not going to hold anything back. Even when they do make that mistake during the day, "Sandy, I made a mistake today. This is what happened. And I learned from it. This is what I'm not going to do tomorrow." And that'll make you say, "Woo, yay, victory." And they'll say, now I understand what she's saying every day to me or every week when we talk.
Exactly. Exactly. And we're all human beings. We're gonna make mistakes. We're all That's what life is about.
Learning from them.
Learning, absolutely. Learning from those mistakes.
Like when that recruit didn't make the bed so the quarter would bounce off it, they had to learn from it and do it again and again and again until they finally got it right the day before graduation. And then you shipped them home.
Exactly.
But you got them to that point. Sandy, like I told you in the pre-show, it's always fun talking to veterans, especially my female veterans, because they're much more open with their knowledge and their experiences. So I really enjoyed this chat with you tonight.
Thank you so much for having me, Rich. I'm here to serve. I'm here to, have this beautiful conversation. And if it serves one person, if it helps them make their bed, if it helps them take that small action, that small actionable step in the right direction, then we've made all the difference in the world if we only affect one person. But I'm pretty sure it'll be just more than one person. But it's, this is powerful. And I thank you for having me on here. It's always fun. Always.
How can someone get in contact with you if they want to just hang out with you like I am or get involved in your training?
Absolutely. So I actually do have free training. They can go to sexyconfidencetraining.com for my free webinar. That's where I give free training. Or they can go to sandragonzalez.com. They can go to my website. Now, Gonzalez is spelled with 2 Z's, and you spelled it correctly, Rich. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. So sandragonzalez.com is my website. And what I do is I offer a free inner critic assessment. All I do is it's a 15-minute call where I assess and I help her see something she might not be seeing so she can take that first step in the right direction. So please reach out to me, DM me. I'm here to serve. And also I'm on Instagram at Coach Sandra Gonzalez.
Awesome. And that was my brother saying, great chat tonight. He's listening in from New Jersey. So he's also my moderator on YouTube now to keep the bad comments out, or the spam, I guess, keep them out. So I'm not controlling everything from right here while I'm talking to you. So thank you for that. And if you ever want to come back on, you got my information. If you have something new in the works you wanted to talk about, I'm here, and it'll be great to have you on again.
Thank you so much, Rich. Well, you do the same, please. Something comes up, regarding sexy confidence, that everybody needs to cultivate more of sexy confidence because everybody has it within. And, the mental toughness, anything and everything. I'm here to chat. And thank you for having me.
Outstanding. Thank you, and have a great night.
You do the same.
Thanks for checking us out and being a part of the Misfit Nation. Don't forget to visit our website at themisfitnation.com. It's themisfitnation.com to catch up on all of our episodes and also to get some of that great Misfit Nation gear. As always, be humble, stay hungry, and keep hustling because we are